Good afternoon, students. I'm Dr. Jayashree, professor from CSE department. And today I have been given a topic on programming and its significance in engineering domain. Okay. First, let me congratulate all of you for choosing MVSR. Hearty congratulations for selecting MVSR to you as well as to your parents. Welcome to MVSR. Okay. So this is the topic that was given to me, programming and its significance. So let us see what is the importance of programming in engineering domain. So when we talk about programming, students of other branches like civil and mechanical, they'll be in a perception that this is not required for us. Maybe this is a thought process of the students which we have observed in our past experience. So this is connected only to CSC or IT or to some extent to ECE department. But that conception of thinking is not correct to the current modern scenario, right? We'll just think of something to connect why or how programming is important for all of us, irrespective of the CSE domain. So let us just think for a moment that it's just a hypothetical thinking for a fun that there is no mobile, there is no TV, there is no internet, there is no applications, there are no mobile apps, nothing is there in our hands, right? Can we imagine our modern life now without all this? Yes. Can we imagine? No. Maybe our generation, we can somehow manage without mobile, without TV, without internet. But yes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am,
yeah, ma'am.
Could you maximize the screen, ma'am?
Okay. Well, maybe make it slide. I have only one slide actually.
Only one slide.
Okay. There's only one slide. I am. Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, ma'am.
No problem. So I was just talking about an example where can we imagine without mobile or without internet, right? So it is becoming difficult. We are attached to our technology to such a vast extent that we cannot take any decisions or we cannot do any actions in our day-to-day life without a smartphone, right? Everybody has their smartphone in their hand due to the technology revolution, right? So when you see your smartphone in your hand, what all you see in that? You have so many applications. There is an application for academics purpose. There are apps for entertainment purpose. There are apps for doing any business like ordering something from Amazon or Flipkart. There are apps for doing exchange of messages. There are apps for doing playing songs or playing movies, etc. For entertainment, for academics, for playing, for games, everything you have on your mobile, right? Or if you don't have a habit to play games or play music on mobile, you might be using laptop. Even laptops are also providing applications. You call them as web applications, and if you use it on a mobile, you refer it as a mobile application. That's it. But anyway, it is going to be a same application. So when you think of an application, what comes into your mind? What comes into your mind? So at the background, there is a programming which is there for every application. Right? So without programming, there is no life in modern generation. If I can give a statement like this, we should agree for this. Right? Without an application, we are not in a position to do any day-to-day task. Right? For exchanging messages, we need an application. We are using WhatsApp from morning to night. We are using WhatsApp to exchange our messages, to exchange files. We are using emails to exchange, or to order something. We are using so many applications, right? To even read a text. Now we have some message apps like Audible app, which will help you to read the text, right? There are n number of applications which we are using day to day life. And if I say, something like a statement like nothing is possible without programming in current generation, we should accept for this. It is not possible. We cannot go into, and because we want to automate every task, whether you go to any shopping complex or whether you go to a medical application scenario, any hospitals, everywhere we see that the tasks are being getting automated. When you say the tasks are getting automated, at the background there is a software. It's a project. You at the higher end you call it as a project, but at this lower end, when you go to a little lower stage, you need a programming. There is a significance of programming in every application. So do you agree? Whether it is CSE or IT or EC or Triple E or civil or mechanical, everybody should have an idea of programming. So to connect to other departments of Triple E or civil or mechanical, now we have automatic cars, we have self-driving cars, we have everything which can be operated through mobile, like something like complete home automation, right, where we can control all the electronic equipments of our house through a simple remote or through a mobile, right? So can you connect now? So for every domain, for every engineering domain, we are trying to automate the task so that we can interact with the machine. I'm saying interact with the machine as well as computers. We are not always interacting with the computer. Now we are also trying to interact with machines. When you are trying to interact in a simple way, we are all using washing machine, right? It's an automated washing machine, right? You just switch, you just on one particular button, it will take the task of how much water level you need, how much uh, what type of rotation it has to do, whether it is fuzzy or quick, or whether it is a blanket mode, whatever it is. You do a setting operations, you give a set of instructions initially. Next time, when you just press a button, it does automatically, right? So in every part of life, with a small amount of programming here and there, everywhere, we are walking through our life. So in modern life or in modern world, what I can say, every domain is making use of programming to make our life simple, easier, and so that we can interact with the machines in a simple way and in a better way, right? You might have now heard about smart TVs, right, where you can just say increase the volume, it increases the volume, change the channel, it changes the channel, where the speech of a person has to be understood and it has to work accordingly. Even smart fridge is also coming, where maybe it is still may not be in India, in other countries it has already started, where the fridge will give you a message saying that while coming from office you try to bring a packet of milk, right? So the fridge will start interacting with us. So there is a huge change in the technology, right? At the background, when you just close your eyes now, all your equipments that are there in your house, the smartphone that is there in your house, when you just close your eyes, all zeros and ones, all tags, all programming codes should revolve around you, right? So without programming, there is nothing now. Okay. So these are the obvious reasons why people now should go or start doing programming. Okay, so I have given a caption. It's hard to read the code than to write it. So let's see why I have given a caption like this by the end of the session. So I have just prepared only one slide. So I would like to talk more about all of these points. I have not prepared any slides, frankly to say, because there is no tool for me which will automatically type whatever I want in PPT, right? I have to sit and type. So still there is no tool which will help me to do the task. So the first point is, hello, why is programming language important in modern world? I think I have already covered this point, whatever we have spoken so far. What are the reasons? What are the obvious reasons why programming is important, right? So one simple reason is you want to interact with machines, you want to interact with computer, or you want to automate the task, whatever may be the task. The task can be, it can be related to computer science, the task can be related to EC task, the task can be any task in general. You want to automate task or you want to create intelligent machines, right? You want to make the machine to, as just now we were talking about, right? You just press a button, the fan should rotate. You want to make that device intelligent enough so that it can understand what instruction you are trying to say, what instruction you are trying to tell it, right? Or you just, one more example, whatever we said with respect to TV, you just say increase the volume. It should understand to what extent I have to increase, whether it is by one step or two step, right? So you want to create intelligent machines, or you want to ensure that the power of computing, you want to connect to the power of computing in all human endeavors, whatever you find, right? So these are the obvious reasons why programming language is important in modern life, right? So that so that is about the topic with respect to the first question, why programming language is important. So I hope by the end of this session, every branch student may connect to programming language, why it is required for his particular branch, right? And why we have to study programming languages. Why you have to study? Just now we have seen what are the different uh, scenarios where people are making use of automating the machines or making the machine to learn something, right? So what are the reasons, or why I should study programming language? Civil student or a mechanical student also will have a question, why should I read programming language? To just classify, hello, to just brief out why I should study. You want to become a better software engineer, that can be one simple reason, right? So that you can understand the features of the language in a better way. You want to understand the language features. You want to appreciate the implementation issues, right? That can be one simple reason, so that you can become a very good software engineer. That is one thing. Second one, you want to have a strong idea of selection of the language. So given a problem, given a task, you should know what you should apply, what kind of programming language is suitable for a given problem, right? So if you have a background knowledge of programming language, then a better background will help you for language selection. When is it possible? Only when you have a familiarity with range of languages, right? Or you know, or you're familiar with the advantages, disadvantages, issues of each and every programming language. Suppose when you go to a mobile shop, you want to buy a mobile, you're aware of some models, you will suggest to your friend that you don't take this, you take this, you don't take this, you prefer that because it has that feature. How do you come to that conclusion? Because you have a familiarity of, you have understood the advantages and disadvantages of model 1, model 2, model 3, so that you can now take a decision, right? So if you have that background knowledge, it becomes easy for you to have language selection, right? So that is one important reason why you have to study programming language. You should have the background knowledge. So when a task is given for you, when you have to design an application, a mobile application, for example, you should know what language you have to select. You should know what framework you have to use. You should know what on what type of operating system it works better. Are there any issues with other operating system? You should have the background knowledge, right? That is also one of the reasons why you have to read programming languages. Then another one important major reason is you want to know the implementation issues, because there will be certain implementation issues with a platform or with an operating system, or certain implementation issues will be there in the language itself. Okay, how this particular feature can be implemented, or why does this part run so slowly in this particular configuration, or in that particular configuration. So you want to understand it, you want to analyze that. So for that also you should have a better understanding of implementation issues, right? Say suppose something like you're talking about some remote method invocation, I have to call, or I have to invoke a machine which is located at some other location. So what type of language which help me to do this in a better way? What are the languages which support remote method invocation? And which one I have to choose? Which one runs efficiently? Which one works efficiently at a faster rate? So that there won't be any time gap or time lapse, right? So when we use these apps also, people might have faced it. If that app is not working properly, we feel that this app is not at all good. Let us not use this, right? Yes or no? If it is slow, or sometimes when you are searching anything, sometimes it will take a lot of time to give you the results. Then what happens? We'll say that this app has not been designed properly. Means they might have not taken certain issues into consideration, right? So that will come under how do you understand the problem? What are the things that you have to take care while performing the programming, right? So these are some reasons you want to become a better software engineer. You want to know the background. You should have the background first so that you can do a proper language selection, or you want to learn languages. If you have idea of one language, obviously it will help you to learn a new language at an easier way or at a simple way. If I know C or if I know C++, it will become easy for me to learn Java. Right? Next step, I can learn Python very easily because Python is made very simple compared to C and Java. Like that. So if I have an idea of one programming language confidently, then I can learn the another programming language at an easier way without any, what should I say, you don't need a teacher also. You can learn on your own. Self-paced learning can be done if you know one programming language confidently. Okay? Why you have to study new languages? Market requirement, right? Technology is changing, market requirement is changing. Obviously, you should update yourself, learning new languages, new frameworks. You should work on new frameworks. It will be changing. It won't be constant, right? That's the reason there is so much revolution in the technology. So many different applications are coming. So many automations are going on, etc., etc. So these are all the reasons why we should read programming languages, right? People may have still civil or mechanical or any other non-CSE branches still may have a question, why I should learn programming language? I may not be using in my civil domain, or I may not be using in mechanical domain. What I can suggest is there also you'll be using some tools. For example, CAD CAM you'll use, QCAD you'll use, AutoCAD you'll use, Primera you'll use. There are so many tools which you civil and mechanical people also will prefer for designing their models or for designing vehicles. Automobile students to design their vehicles, to design certain shapes. Even ECE they use certain tools for designing the circuit, right? So why should you prefer the same tool? You want to create your own new tool, right? So in that case you should start writing new tool, right? You should know learning, you should know programming so that you can create your own tool to customize to your constraints, to whatever customization you want. You want your own tool has to be created. In that case also we need to learn programming language. So better to be able to design language. Suppose some people may land up with coming with a new programming language. I want to come with my own new programming language. So in that case, because you don't want to use what is already available in the history, you want to repeat a new one. You want to create a new programming language. So these are all the reasons why you should learn programming language. You have to study programming language. So it is a second point of discussion. Then third one, types of programming language. Are there any types? So when we say, what is this programming language actually? In a simple words, if you have computer science subjects in your school, you might have learned this is the language which is used for communicating with computer, right? So, or in other words, your program can be referred as a process that will lead from your original formulation of a computing problem to execute as a computer program. Whatever problem you had, you have given an original formulation of it, the formulation of a computing problem so that it can execute as a computer program. Right. So, what are the types? You might have learned this already if you had any computer based subjects at your schooling. There are different ways of referring to these types of programming languages. One simple way is like machine language, then assembly languages, then high level languages, system languages, scripting languages, domain specific languages, visual languages. Right? This is one way of categorization. To just give a one sentence about each of these, machine languages, which can be directly interpreted in hardware, they are referred as machine languages. Then assembly languages are thin wrappers, where we use certain coding system or coding mechanism over a corresponding machine language, right? Then the next category is high level languages, anything which is machine independent, which is not dependent on machine platform or machine independent, or basically referred as your high level languages. Then system languages, which are exclusively used for certain low level tasks, say something like memory management, process management. For that, you need system languages. Okay. Then scripting languages, which are extremely high level and as well as they are powerful languages. And the next category is domain specific languages, where these are designed exclusively for a specific purpose. Say, for example, we have functional languages, we have declarative languages, we have logical languages. Okay, all these come under some domain specific languages. Okay, then final category is visual languages, which is not related to text, non-text based, will fall under the category of visual languages. So these are all the different one category of one way of telling what are types of programming languages. The another way of classification, if you want to do, it is like first generation languages, second generation language, third generation language, fourth generation language, fifth generation language, something like this. You might have learned, right? First generation is as same as of your machine language. Second generation is with respect to assembly languages. Fourth generation is your high level language. Fifth generation, third is high level language. Fourth is scripting languages. Fifth is domain specific. For domain specific, you can now call the languages that are preferred for this artificial intelligence, etc., etc. Right? Then are these mutually? Are they like you should be used only for this purpose? They are not mutually exclusive. What do you mean by not mutually exclusive? To just give a clue here, the language that you're going to learn, C is considered as both high level language as well as system level language. C was the first language which was preferred for all system programming purpose, like writing compilers, for performing memory and management, for all those whatever system programming you need. I will not focus about all those now. Whatever support you need for executing your program efficiently, you need certain set of support. You need a compiler, you need an interpreter, based upon whatever programming language you are using. You need a linker, you need a loader to load your program, to link your program, all this. You need a set of tools. A support is required at the low level, system programming level. All those were written in C. But C is also used as a high level language to solve the problems, right? So C is both high level as well as people sometimes they'll call it as low level. Rather than low level, I prefer the word system level. Okay, because it was preferred for designing editors, compilers, etc., etc. Okay, like that. Another example is like Perl. Perl is an example where you can put it under both high level language as well as scripting language. Like this, they are not mutually exclusive. They can act as at some instant you can treat that particular language as a high level language based upon the problem for which you are addressing. That language can be treated as a system programming language or a scripting language, etc. This is another way of giving types of programming languages. Then there is another method also based upon the programming paradigms and what is the approach that is used, what is the methodology that is used. You again have different types of programming languages like functional programming languages or object-oriented programming languages, object-based programming languages, like that, structural programming languages, procedural programming languages. So this is another way. Okay, these are all the different way of doing classification or indicating types of programming languages. Now the question comes is, why do we need so many? Why do we need so many languages? Or under each category, when we said high level languages, if people are aware of whatever we said, C, C++, Java, Python, all these are high level languages only. They are under a single particular section. Then why do you need so many? Right? So the next question is, why do you need so many languages? Why do you need so many? The first simple question is evolution. Evolution has made the market to come up with new languages based upon the business requirement, based upon the market requirement. There is a change in the evolution of programming languages as well, right? So the first foremost reason why we have so many are, first one is evolution. Okay, to just say people started with structured programming and now we are in object oriented programming. Okay, there is a big chain. What are the programming languages? What was the first programming language? What was the second programming language? There is a big flow chart, which talks about the evolution of programming language. I think you can see the programming language that you'll be going to learn. That will be one of the topic, history of C, where we'll talk about the evolution of C programming languages. So I think there people will cover, so I will not focus here. So one simple reason is evolution. Right? In any perspective, when you talk about your phones itself, we had the simple box type Nokia phone initially, right? Now we have a thin, very small, should I say, the size is so thin and it is touch, and it is so smart to see when compared to a Nokia phone, right? People used to call it as a dabba phone, right? So what made this difference? Evolution has made this difference. In the same way, why do we have so many programming languages? Evolution is one of the reasons for market to address the upcoming or new modern business computational requirements in any of the engineering domain. There is a requirement of a new programming language, and we have to adapt to the new programming languages which are coming up so that we can address the market problem, or we can address the current problem through the particular programming language. So that is one reason. And second reason is a special purpose. What do you mean by this special purpose? So you have certain language called X. Assume it is C, it's a programming language called C. It has certain restrictions, right? When you had certain restrictions for a given particular programming language, can I use that for some other purpose? Obviously not, right? When you take the example of mobile itself, my mobile does not allow me to, what should I say, I don't have camera in my mobile. Assume it's a very rare scenario. Now it is every phone has a camera. Assume there is no camera in my phone. Can I take photos from this phone? No. So it has been designed in such a way that this phone can be used only for calling purpose. I cannot take photos from this. In the same way, some programming languages have been introduced in order to address a specific category of problems. Okay, to say domain specific purpose. Okay, for special category to address the special issues that people face in the market. For example, long back, there was a programming language called COBOL, which was used exclusively for business purpose to do all those calculations of loss, profit, gain, etc. Like that, there are certain programming languages which are designed exclusively for addressing certain category of specific task. Okay. And to just say a prologue is used for relationship, expressing the relationships, list is used for expressing exclusively for symbols, then snowball is used exclusively for strings, etc. etc. They can give so many examples here. Or you want to address your object and relationships. Now we are preferring object oriented programming languages, so on. Right? Next important reason why should I have so many programming languages? Another third important reason is personal preference. I have my own preference, right? As I said, how can you come to this stage of selecting a preference? When we were talking about the second point, why study programming languages, there I have mentioned one point, a strong background to perform language selection. right? So if you are good at that particular point, then now you can come to this personal preference. I have preference, I prefer this language with my experience. I feel like this programming language will help me to address this particular problem. This is more simple, or this is more efficient, something like this. I have my own personal preferences. The developers or programmers in general have their own personal tasks. Okay, if I have two languages which are both object oriented, say something like C++ or Java, if you ask people to vote, you'll find a difference. Somebody will say they'll prefer C++, somebody will say they'll prefer Java, because it is their own preference. Okay, they have their own reasons why they are preferring one language over the other. So that is one reason why we have so many programming languages. The next one is expressive power. What do you mean by this expressive power? Okay, some features are exclusively added into programming languages which will help you to express your ideas in a better way. Okay, for example, when you compare just now when we were talking about C++ and Java, in Java, so many libraries have been included, so many packages have been included, okay, which will help you to express your ideas far, far better compared to C++. So that you can write a program in a very simple way compared to the another programming language, right? So because of the expressive power, now people prefer Python over Java because it is still made more simple. Okay, I'll not talk about expressive power. It is made more simple compared to Java, like that. So you have your own preferences, or you have your own features that are given in your programming language are easy to use. For this easy to use, you can use Python here. Okay, some programming language will be very easy to use or very easy to learn, very easy to teach, right? Especially for some particular category of task. Right? For example, when you take pointers, people feel it is one of the tough topic in C. Okay, but when you come to Java, there are no pointers at all. There is no concept of pointer at all in Java. Then the first question the students will ask is, how come pointers are not there in Java language, and how does it is handled? Okay, there is another solution for it. It has its own way of expressing the same power that pointers has given in Java, in C, right? Like that. Then why it has been removed? Because they have identified that people are facing problem when they are making use of pointers. So they wanted to rectify that problem. So they started expressing the language in a different way, different method or different approach. There we still have, but don't call them as pointers. We call it as a other way. You can say it as a reference. All right. The next one is ease of implementation. Easy to write. Some will be very easy to write. Some programming languages, it will be very strict. You have to follow the indentation. You have to follow some particular syntax. It should be like this. It should be like that. There are some programming languages will have very minor set of restrictions. So easy to write, easy to implement. Then you have the compilers of the programming languages are very good. They are executing it a better way. You don't face any problem when compiling the program. All these are the reasons, okay, why we have so many programming languages. So I think I have addressed the first four questions. So then now we'll enter into the exact main important point of our today's session, which is logic building skills. What is this? When whatever we have spoken so far about programming, the simple way it is code that you have to write, or in a simple words, let us come down to a very simple thing. I should write a program. Given a problem, let us not think about application, designing a web application or designing a mobile application. Let us confine to a very small scenario. Given a program, given a task, given a problem, I should write a program for it. How should I begin? This is one big question that comes into students. How should I write a program? How should I begin? Right. So the first thing, all of you, please make a note. For this reason only, I have kept the tag initially that it is hard to read code than to write. It is easy to write a code, provided you know the logic of the program. You should build that logic thinking or logic building skills. That is more important. So how should I do it? How should I ensure that my logical capabilities are improvising, or how should I address a problem? Right? Say you are given a program, a simple program. Okay, for example, write a program to find whether a number is prime number or not. Have we all solved this problem in maths? Yes, we know what is a prime number. If it is divisible by 1 and itself, then you refer it as a prime number. But the same thing, you should represent it as a set of instructions so that the system will understand now, and when you enter a number, the system should tell us whether it is a prime number or not. What I have to do? What are the techniques that will help me to address that I can improve my logic building skills? Okay, so whenever you begin with a problem, okay, first you should find out what is the process that is involved in it. What is the logic that is logic in the sense, what are the steps? As we just now said, if a problem is to check whether a number is prime number, what is the thing? What is the first task? You should verify whether that number is divisible by only one and itself. When it is divisible by only one and itself, I'll just come out, I'll just open a word, we'll just see how to do for you, so that people can understand. Okay, I want to check whether number is, I'll increase the font size so that it will be visible. I want to check whether a number is prime number or not. Okay, whatever we just mentioned, the logic should be like, you can express it in two ways. First simple method is, when you divide that number from 1 to n, it should be divisible only from 1 and n itself, 1 and n only, right? So for that, as an algorithm, something like you might have heard, if you want to prepare a coffee, what are the instructions that you have to follow? Right? First boil the milk, then add sugar, then add, if it's an instant coffee, you add the powder, or if it is a filter coffee, you add the decoction, and then put it for some more time, your coffee will be ready. Right? In the same way, these are the set of instructions which we have to write, so that when you come out with this kind of pseudo code, it becomes easy for you to convert your pseudo code into a exact programming syntax, because each programming language will have its own syntax. Let me just reduce this space here so that let us see. So this is your code. Fine. Yes or no? Are you able to follow? So the first thing is, whenever you have a problem, what you have to do is, you should first understand what is the input for my problem, what I have to do. To do that, what is the computations that I have to do? Means what steps I have to follow. First, what I have to do. Second, what I have to do. Then third, what I have to do. What are those sequence of steps I have to do? Whether can I use a simple if condition, or whether I have to use a for loop, what I have to do. That decision you have to make. And then you write a simple pseudo code, then convert that pseudo code into a program. Don't directly jump into starting the very first line of your C code or Java code or Python code, whatever it is, whatever programming language you are talking about. Okay, you'll start the first line and you'll be blank. You don't know what to do. Okay, because you have not done any prior practice, or you have not understood the problem, you have not understood the logic, you have just opened the system and you have started writing the first line. Is it possible? No. Without doing the preparation of boiling the milk, adding the sugar, adding the filter decoction, will you get a coffee? No. So if you just start opening the system and typing the first line or second line of your simple syntax, we'll be learning in your course, hash include or main, will you be able to write the remaining part? You won't be able to write the remaining part. So if you have to write that remaining part of the code, you should understand the logic of the program. Okay, if you have understood the logic of the program, if you have understood what I have to use to convert the statements into a syntax, what I have to use, where I have to use, when I have to use. www of internet, I always use it for programming languages. Given any implementation feature, given any feature of any programming languages, these three W's are very important. What, where, and when. What feature I have to use of the programming language, when I have to use, where exactly I have to use. If you are in a position to take a conclusion of these three, it is very easy for you to learn any programming language. Is my time off? Presentation is not coming.
Please share the presentation.
Can't
Share the presentation. What is coming? What is coming?
Okay, so it's okay, fine. If presentation is not coming, I'll just return one code. No problem, I'll just tell what I have done to find whether a number is prime number. The first logic that we have used was to check whether a number is prime. What we can do, we'll divide that number from 1 to n and we'll verify when you have divided like that, whether the remainder was 0 only for 1 and the number itself. That count is equal to 2. Then you will take a decision that it is going to be a prime number. Is this the only solution that you can write? No, there can be another way of approaching this problem. Right, as I just said with respect to coffee, I can prepare a coffee with instant powder or I can prepare a coffee with filter decoction. Right, there are two options. For coffee itself, you have two options. Right, for a prime number also, you have one more option. What can be the other option? I need not have to start from 1 and n. I need not have to start from 1 and end at n because every number will be divisible by 1 and itself. Right? So I'll begin with 2. I'll end at n minus 1. I'll see in between this range from 2 to n minus 1, are there any numbers by which the number is divisible? For example, if I take 5, in the first logic, what I'll do? I'll divide 5 by 1, 5 by 2, 5 by 3, 5 by 4, 5 by 5. And then I'll take a decision that since 5 by 1 and 5 by 5 only will give you a remainder as 0, hence 5 is the prime number. In the second logic, what I'll do is, I'll not start from 1 and I'll not end at 5. I'll begin with 2. I'll end at 4. I'll divide 5 by 2. I'll divide 5 by 3. I'll divide 5 by 4. In all these cases, will it give you a remainder as 0? No. Then what I'll do is, the moment for any number, when I begin with 2, when the loop begins with 2, if it leaves out or if it gives a remainder as 0, immediately I'll come out and I'll conclude that it is not going to be a prime. For example, if it is a 6, if I have taken the number as 6, 6 by 2, because it is an even number, 6 by 2 will give the remainder as 0. So I'll come out from the loop and will take a decision that it is not going to be a prime number. Right? So I can express it in different ways. So you should learn how I should express it. What are the different things? So from the student point of view, I can understand it. Teachers will tell so easily, but it is very difficult for us to come out with this logic. So for that, what you have to do? What you can do is, you have to practice. Practice is the only solution. In your intermediate, you might have practiced your maths and physics, right? How many times you would have solved a math problem, some particular chapter, either trigonometry or linear algebra, whatever it is, you would have practiced. Your practice has made so perfect that at the final exam, given a problem, you'll start immediately solving it, right? In the same way for coding also, you have to practice. There is no shortcut for getting a better programming. Okay, so but you can use certain techniques. That's what I have mentioned in the slide, techniques and tips. Let us see what are the simple techniques. The first simple technique is you have to practice, 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 and practice. That's the reason you have that common statement, practice makes you perfect, right? So some techniques which may be based upon my experience I can give you. Try to solve new problem every day. Take some problem. Take some category of problem. Try to solve it. Okay? Solve a specific problem. Say something like you want to design certain patterns, printing stars, first 1 star, second 2 star, some patterns. You may find these problems in many websites. You want to print a pattern in the form of a triangle, in the form of a circle, in the form of a rectangle. Okay? It's a specific problem. Take a specific problem. In that specific pattern, this is one category, right? In that category, you solve one problem. Put your effort to solve it. Do it for 3 or 4 times until you get it. Once you get it, you have understood how to solve it. You need not have to again solve the same category of patterns, right? You will say that given a pattern, problems like this, I will solve. Something like your math, right? Given a problem in trigonometry, I will be in a position to solve. In the same way, try to select a category of problem every day, okay? Or as we said, check out whether a number is prime. Next time what to do? Print the same prime numbers from 1 to 100. Then check whether some other number is, you have so many numbers, right? Armstrong numbers, you have some other numbers. You know the logic in your maths you might have learned, right? Like that. You try to solve one problem after the other. Take a category of problems, try to solve step by step. Okay? So try to solve new problems every day. Take simple tasks. One category of problem, one day. Try to solve it. Make an attempt to solve it once you start learning the syntax of the language. Then second one is go level by level. Move level by level. This is what we do in games, right? When you play games, the game itself will say level 1, level 2, level 3. The moment you finish level 1, you will never come back to level 1. You will always go to the next level, level 2. Next, once you finish level 2, you will go to next level, level 3. Yes or no? Will you again come back and play level 1 mode? You will never come back to level 1 mode and play. The same thing you apply in programming. It is not so difficult. You have to just do some practice. You have to put some effort. Okay? So start with easy problems. Start with simple category of problems, and then take a next move. Take to the next level. Take your programming skills to the next level. Okay? So you may have a doubt. Where do I come across all this? Okay? How do I find, or how do I know that there are problems? Where do you find the problems? The simple way to find out problems is there are so many websites, for example, Geek for Geeks, for example, Hacker Rank, Code Wars, Coding Games. So there are so many which will help you to give you problems. Okay, so I kindly request all of you to choose those websites to find out problems. When you open a website like that, I'll just open Geeks for you. Now is my screen shared? I think it is shared. This is what I have written last time for the prime number, something like this. Okay, I'll just go by 1 to number and I'll see if count is 2, it is prime, else it is not prime. What I'll do is I'll just replace this code with new one. Instead of going from 1 to n, I'll start from 2. I'll wind up at number -1. Okay, again same thing. Instead of counting, I will not have to count. If it is divisible by a number apart from 1 and n itself, at any for any other number, I'll just take some flag. Okay, then if flag is equals to 1, If it is divisible by any other number, then what happens? It is not going to be a prime, else it is a prime number, like that. And I'll just say break. I need not have to repeat it for all numbers. So these two programs, when you observe, you have improved this program in terms of time complexity. Efficiency has increased because you are not running the loop for so many number of times for whatever it has been written. For example, if I take a simple number called 49. 49 is a number. Is it a prime number? It's not a prime number because it is divisible by 7. In this case, what it will do? It will divide 49. 49 is your number. 49 divided by 1, 2, 3, so on till 49, it will divide. So the loop has been executed for 49 times, right? And then it will take a decision of whether it is prime or not prime. But in this case, when you observe, it starts from 2. Okay, the moment when I reaches 7, number divided by 7, 49 divided by 7 equal to 0. So it breaks. Break means it will come out from the while loop. Okay. So what happens? You have reduced the number of iterations. It has executed for 49 times. It has executed only for 2 to 7 means only 6 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It has executed only for 6 times. this is what you can talk something about optimization of your algorithm, or improvising your programming techniques, or making your algorithm means the technique that you have used, making your code efficient, time efficient. So it runs at a faster rate, right? Time complexity. Okay, your time complexity should be always low. Means it should execute at a faster rate. So when you take the simple example, this program will execute at a faster rate compared to, of course, this you may not observe on the screen that we run on the system, but when you try to calculate the time complexity, obviously there will be a lot of difference between this program and this program. This is how you should improvise your programming skills. Okay, then I was talking about programs, right? Where do you find problems? So you have so many websites, for example, Geeks for Geeks. This is a very popular website. Maybe some of you might have gone through this. Okay, so you'll have topic wise, you have courses, you have practice. This is a very good platform to learn programming language. So you'll have problems, you can give your own solution for that problem. Others would have already given a solution for that particular problem. Okay, then what you can do is, you can see that code, you can try to improvise it, you can give a new code, something like that. You may have some different questions also for which you can find out solutions, right? So this is one important website which you can prefer for finding the category of problems. Where do you find the problems? How do you search? How do you start doing? Something like this, right? So you have so many questions will be given, and for that solutions also will be given. But don't directly just see the solution. The next important problem is check others' code. When you want to solve a problem, you can always check others' code, how they have written. But you should not just simply copy it, right? You have a Stack Overflow, you have Geeks for Geeks. All these will give you solutions. But okay, fine. So you have so many websites where already code is available. So our jobs have made, actually people have made our jobs simple. But I recommend you can check the code, but you never copy the code. Because I'll just give you a simple example. Now there are so many YouTube channels, which cooking channels especially. If I want to cook some particular dish, I'll go through that video, but ultimately I have to prepare. I cannot get that dish from YouTube, my phone, right? I have to cook on my own. In the same way, you check the other's code, nothing harm in it. You check the code, how they have written, what features they have used, what approach they have used, how simplified solution they have given. But finally, you have to do on your own. Okay, it helps you. Checking the other code will help you to find out the easiest solution, or or various methods that people are adapting to solve the problem. Okay, but use your own brain to apply the logic to solve the problem and get the correct solution. Okay, so there are so many sites like GitHub, Bitbucket, Stack Overflow. All these are open source libraries where you can, when you're stuck at any particular point, first actually make an attempt. You make an attempt to try to solve it. When you don't get it, okay, you are like in a position where you cannot tolerate to find out the solution, then check into the other school, but don't directly copy it. Identify what technique they are using and then come back to your program. Correct yourself. Where are you going wrong? Because logic will not be same. His logic will be different. Your logic might be different. So where you have to do corrections, come back to your code and try to do the corrections appropriately. Okay? Then divide your problem into smaller things. This will be applicable when your problem is big enough, like when you're designing some application, designing your website or something like that. Okay, or even in your simple C programming language also, we'll talk about something called functions, where the same program is divided into function, one main function and another function. Okay, where you try to divide your task into smaller chunks. So that what happens, instead of a single program of such a big, some 50 lines of code, if it is being segregated as some module, it becomes easy for you to trace where exactly something is going wrong. That's the reason we prefer writing in the form of functions. That was some basic reason for your C to refer it as a functional or a procedural oriented programming language. Write down on a paper what steps you need to take in order to solve a specific problem. This is very, very important. Think about the problem carefully. Write down. Always try to make a practice to take a paper, take a pen, first to solve your problem on paper and pen. Don't directly use your computer. You need to first make a list of the steps that are required in order to solve the problem. Think about all these scenarios. Okay, think about all the scenarios, think about all the steps. According to that, you try to write what is the inputs, what are the variables that you need to use, and then write a pseudocode. Then convert your pseudocode into the program. Okay, don't directly jump writing into the program. That is not a good practice. Okay, and then finally, what else we can do is try to make some, once you're confident enough, okay, when you practice so many problems in either gigs for gigs or something else, then you can start learning by doing certain projects, simple projects. How many computer languages can be learned? I'll address these questions in the last 5 minutes. I think my time is up. I'll try to close and then I'll address the question. You can work out with some projects. You can make certain projects, simple projects, like for instance, way to say, some creating a web application or creating a mobile application like this. Work out on projects. Okay. So if you learn a programming language, in the perspective of building your logic, it will always help you in your career. If you just read the code, by heart the code, copy the code from somewhere else, and then present it in your exam, you will never learn programming. Okay? Please make it a practice to understand the logic, convert your logic, put the logic on a paper, and then convert it into a pseudocode, rough code, without any proper indentation or without any proper syntax. Put it into some rough pseudocode, and then they convert this into the code in whatever programming language you want to represent it. Okay, this will always help you. Then finally try to design certain projects, simple projects. For example, if after you learn C, you can just create a simple interface where you have a car, you have to design a car, a rectangle, a circle, a shape. The car should move from this end of the screen to that end of the screen. A simple project. I'm just giving a very simple example. Something like that. It's a simple project. You are using the concepts that you have learned in C, you're trying to implement it as a simple project where you have designed a car on your own. You can use colors, etc., etc. You want that car to move from this end of the screen to that end of the screen, then back, and so on. Like this. Try to create some simple projects. From simple, try to go to the complex projects, creating a web application, creating a mobile application, and so on. Okay, so these are the techniques that you can use for improving your logic building skills. And whenever a problem is given, or when you are learning a language, don't skip the topics. There will be always some continuity from one topic to the other topic. So don't never skip the topics. If you feel that this topic is not interesting, I will not read this topic. I'll directly go into Unit 5 or Unit 4. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work out. There will be some link from one feature to the other feature. You cannot have independent features. Right? So don't skip the questions, or when you are learning or when you are attempting any quiz also, in those times, in that particular scenario also, don't skip the question. Try to understand it. Train your mind to improve logic in programming. Okay? Then when you are given a problem, don't just understand the problem. Think that you don't need to solve the problems, and you really have to sit and understand impact of coding and what are the cases, what are the possible cases that you have to consider. Considering all those, you have to handle the problem. Okay, and as I said previously, when a problem is given to you, don't just open any website and start checking the solution immediately. Spend some time, at least spend some time on your own to make an attempt to solve the problem. Okay, so if you have to make an attempt to solve the problem on your own, The background is you should have strong theoretical concepts. Okay, you should be strong in your theoretical concepts. Only then you can translate or implement this theoretical concepts in the form of a program that will help you to solve the problem. Okay, so we at MVSR from CSE department will be handling I think it is CPPS or I'm not sure, CPPS, problem solving through C for all the branches. I think few branches will be having in first semester, few branches will be having in second semester. CSE faculty only will be handling this subject for all the branches. We have very good faculty at CSE. I would like to make one request through this platform to all the branches of MVSR. Please don't join any institutes for learning C. It is not required. The faculty who address your course through your semester, either first semester or second semester, you will be in a position to understand the language completely. Okay, if you still want to learn on your own, I recommend you to join something like Coursera. I think there is one more session on all these MOOC courses. You can use these kinds of organizations. I mean, these are MOOC, I think site is down. You can make use of any MOOC online supports that you have, whether Coursera or EduSkills or any, even Infosys is also providing you platforms to learn languages. I'll just write this. NCTQ is from Infosys. Infosys also is coming forward to train their, freshers who will be joining. Need not they join Infosys, but they are coming with a platform to train students with different programming languages. You can just check out what are the options they have, what programming languages they are trying to train, right? So I think if you register, you'll be in a position to understand what all languages they support. Let me just open Coursera. I think site is down. Just check out Coursera or EDX, Udemy. There are so many MOOC providers now. If you just type MOOC providers, you'll get a list. Massive online courses. Okay, wherein from this, you'll be in a position to get a certification from Stanford University, Harvard University, Michigan University. So do you want to have a certificate from those type of institutes, or do you want to have a certificate from Amirpet or Dilshuk Nagar Institute? You take a decision. So it is not required for you to go for any institute to learn C or any other programming languages that you'll be learning in this 4 years program. Let me just clarify the doubts you have. Somebody has asked, what are the most widely used in computer language? Most widely used in C now. Frankly to say, the modern language, programming languages or whatever you learn here, they may not be currently used in market. The most preferred modern programming languages now are Rust. One is Rust, one is Go, one is TypeScript, one is Swift, one is Dart, one is Julia, one is Kotlin. There are so many new programming languages which are coming up. Then you may have a question, why should I learn C? C is like a base. C, if you learn C confidently, you can learn any other programming language. This guarantee we can give you. Okay, so learn C confidently. It will help you to learn any other programming language very easily. Okay, so just type here. You can just check out in any Google search you can do. These are the most talked preferred languages right now in the market. TypeScript, one is Swift. Can you see if I type here? I don't know. Okay, these are now the modern preferred languages based upon the domain. Rust is used for big data domain. Go is used for system programming. Kotlin is used for as a replacement for Java. TypeScript is used for replacement of subscript of JavaScript for web designing or web development, and as well as server-side development. Go is used for cloud native development as well. Swift is used for app development, system programming. Dart is used for again app development. So all these are new. Okay. But why still C? C is like what should I say? I don't know what statement I can give. It is a basic language. If you learn C programming language perfectly, it will help you to learn other programming languages on your own. You can do self-paced learning for all other programming languages if you are confident in coding in C programming language. C, almost, if I'm not wrong, from 2000, C is the programming language which is introduced in first year of engineering course. Even after 20 years, nobody has replaced C with any other programming language. Why? That is the impact of that particular programming language. You have all the features that are required to learn any other programming language in your course, C course. Okay, so try to learn C in your course, which will be offered in first semester for some branches, and for second semester for some other branches. How many computer languages can be learned in the college? So you have C as per your course, and for some branches you have Java, ECE, and it will be like an optional subject. If some other students, civil, mechanical, if they prefer that optional, elective, it will be an elective. If you prefer that elective, even Java also will be taught for you in third year. Okay, and MVSR is taking a special care to teach C++ also, because C++ has been is not included in the course now as per model curriculum. So that to make students to understand Java at a better way, or to understand data structures, because for CSE students or IT students, there is data structures subject through C++, but C++ subject is not there, or course is not there. So for CSE and IT students, we offer C++ also. So you'll be learning C in first sem, C++ in second sem. Java will be in fourth semester. Python is in third semester. 2-1 you have Python, 2-2 you have Java. For CSE, I'm talking about CSE. For others also, in order to bridge the gap, because all other branches also will be interested in programming. Finally, many people will want to become software engineers. There are certain courses which are offered by Cisco. I think there will be one session on Cisco. You can do courses through Cisco, which will be taken care by CSE faculty. Okay, I'll not talk more about that, because those faculty will be addressing regarding how to enroll for those courses, how many courses are available, what type of courses you can do. Right? I have learned a little bit of JavaScript and MySQL in my 11th and 12th class. Madam, so will this make it difficult for me to learn C? Why it will make difficult? So you need C, even though you don't know anything about programming, you can still learn C. You need not have any, it is not mandatory that to learn a programming language, you should have basics of something already. Right? Because there will be so many students where they don't have any computer science subjects in their schooling or intermediate. Right? It is not mandatory to have any background programming language. If you have, it will be a plus point for you. If you have, it doesn't mean that it will make it difficult to learn another programming language. It should make it easy. Of course, you don't have any basic connection with scripting language and MySQL with respect to C, but at least you might have learned some logic building skills, or how to address a problem, how to write a query. That you might have learned in JavaScript and MySQL. This make it difficult for me to learn C and C++ because they are different from Java. No. Don't worry. If you have already learned Java, then you should be in a position to understand or learn C in a better way. Okay. Good afternoon, madam. Please ask this question to madam, please. What is the necessary of learning two languages like Java, C, C++, etc.? You can learn only one language perfectly, madam. Isn't enough of learning one language? In the introduction, we said, if you are, of course, it may be sufficient for you to learn only one language, but when a problem is given to you, when a real-time problem is given to you, if you have to take a decision of which language is preferable for this, if you have learned only language, that is the only option for you. Suppose if you have learned more than one language, then you will be in a position to take a decision which language will suit for the given program, given problem for me, right? So obviously, it is not a better choice. Now we all speak in our mother language, mother tongue. We all speak in Hindi, we all speak in English. Maybe somebody else may know some other languages like Urdu, German, French. Then why are you learning so many languages? For communication only, right? In the same way, it is not enough that you just learn one language and leave it. Of course, you have to learn it perfectly, I don't say, but don't leave it there itself. Your learning should go ahead. Why do you stop learning? Coding is always a fun. Okay, coding is always will improve your logical thinking. So you can't stop with one. You should always explore. You should always explore the implementation features, how they are different in another programming language, how they have been modified from the programming language that I have learned. What is the expressive power in the another programming language? Is it simplified? Is it fast enough compared to the language that I have learned? You have to do these decisions. If you have to do these decisions, you should learn one more. Only then you'll be able to compare. If you know only thing, you cannot compare with anything. If you have two mobiles, you will compare which one is good for me. Right? If you have only one choice, if you go to a shop, your mother says, you buy only this dress. You don't have choice. You have to buy that and come back. Okay, if she says among this and this, you select whichever you want. You have a choice. You can take a decision in the same way. If the same applies here also. If you have learned more than one language, it becomes easy for you to take a decision when you come across any real-time problems. Because Java has certain features, C++ has certain features, C is different because C does not support object-oriented features. There are certain drawbacks. So then how do you address? If you learned only C, how do you address if you want to handle an object-oriented scenario problem? So you should be able to learn more than one. Keep it a target, one semester, one language, or I'll not say one language, at least from the courses, whatever you have, new courses. Try to do one course for one semester. Make it a target, exclusively in terms of programming domain. Try to learn. You can just explore here. I don't have time. It is already 1:15. Try to open these sites, EDX, Coursera, InfyTQ. There are so many sites which will provide you free courses, NPTEL. There are so many sites which will give you option to learn more. So please learn more. And what else we have? How to practice C++, types of how to practice. As I said, you have so many sites. You just go to those sites, take some problem, and you have tutorials also. If you want, I will just share that site. You have one thing, Java T Point is there. Java T Point is there, which is a very good site for all languages you have. This is a common standard site. You can learn C, you can learn C++, you can learn data structures, you can learn Java, you can learn Python, you can learn HTML. This is a very good site. In the same way, you have W3 schools. You have W3 schools. These are very popular sites for programming exclusively. You can try to register. You need not have to register. Just if you want to submit any task, I think you have to register. You can learn all from this. You can select the language. You have references, you have tutorials, select the language which you want to learn, and you can make your own self-study. Okay, Java T Point, W3, program is, I think, one more program. There are so many sites. Okay, when you start exploring, you'll find, oh, these are very good for me to learn something more apart from the topics that are covered in curriculum. Right? Because of the so many constraints at the college level, you will not be able to cover more. We are restricted or confined only to the syllabus because our major task is only to complete the syllabus. Right? But in any given programming language, it is not restricted to the syllabus that is given by OU. Right? There is something more. Try to learn that something more with the basics that you have learned at the college. Through all these platforms. There are so many websites, there are so many courses which are offered. Try to learn more about programming languages. But the fundamentals or the basics which you need will be given by the college faculty, by CSC faculty. Okay, I hope I have conveyed what was assigned for me. Okay, why programming is important. I hope all the department students might have conveyed, might have felt what is the importance of importance. So please make a note. It is hard to read a code than to write a code. If you are confident in applying the logic, translate the logic into a program or into a coding, then it is easy for you to write a program than for you to read a code. Read in the sense by hearting the code. Okay, please don't do that task. Don't never by heart the program. Try to write the logic on your own. Understand how to write the program. Okay, wish you all a happy learning and happy stay at MVSR. I hope there are some more questions for me. I'll wind up the session. Thank you all. Thanks for have taken more time. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam, for clarifying all the doubts of first year students, and each and every area doubt is covered. Thank you, Jayashree, madam.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. Thank you.